friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for a real quick FAQ because I got asked this question quite a bit under the video I did, the last video I did on how to use the Tattler lids. Now, one thing I do want to throw in there is thank you to all those people that did come in there and answer the question about the Harvest Guard lids, and that they are very similar. They work the same way, and that in fact the Harvest Guard, that company, they're related because the guy that founded the Harvest Guard lids and has that business going is the son of the guy that did the Tattler lids. So they're virtually the same, slight differences in the way the lid looks, and apparently the gasket is a little bit thicker. Now, I'm thinking about stocking up on some extra rubber gaskets because those are the things that do wear out over time. You still can use them repeatedly, but the gaskets with the Harvest Guard are a little bit thicker, and from what I understand from certain other people, they are interchangeable. So I'm thinking about getting my gaskets from Harvest Guard, some extras to go with my Tattler lids. So the Tattler lids will last pretty much forever, indefinitely, as long as you treat them right. So anyway, I'll go ahead and link to the videos on how to use the Tattler lids, and also the separate one I did on just how to open the Tattler lids. This one is how do I label the Tattler lids. A lot of people assumed that, I think they saw the ones that look like this, and they assumed that I had wrote directly on the lid with a permanent marker. Well, no, I didn't, because the first year I was canning with my Tattler lids, I did that just like I would the metal lids. However, and I'm going to assume, best I can tell by looking at pictures, that the Harvest Guard has the same, you listen to that? It has the same kind of texture as the Tattler lids. And so writing on there with a permanent marker, this is from 2013, it's almost impossible to get off of there. I've tried several different ways, even using a dry erase marker, which actually made it worse because the dry erase marker also gets embedded in that texture on the lid and is very hard to wipe off. So I did isopropyl alcohol like I would with my regular canning lids, and it just, that's what I've done with all my old ones from 2013 where I wrote directly on the lids, and soap, water, nothing gets it off. So I have some that are permanently stained, so I don't do that anymore. So what you're seeing here, actually, though it might look like I've written directly on the lid, what I have used is Scotch tape. But the problem with this, you either got to use one piece and write really tiny, or you got to use two pieces. So actually my favorite way is like I did here, and that's with the masking tape. So the two ways that you can do that is you can either write, get an idea how big you need that to be, write directly on here. You can write it several times and then just peel it off and cut it and stick it on there, or just cut the tape off, stick it on there and write directly on here, which is usually what I do. I actually find this easier than writing on the roll, but it's just a matter of finding out what's easier. I've tried it both ways. Another option that I think a couple of different people mentioned is using a wax pencil. Now, my experiences with wax pencils, not trying them on the Tattler or Harvest Guard lids myself, I can't say how easy they will be to clean off of there. I know cleaning off of a smooth surface, you just use soap and water and it cleans off pretty easily. You gotta put a tiny bit of elbow grease. But I would think it would still be, personally, and again, I'm saying this without experience on this, using a wax pencil on something with the kind of texture that these have, I think you'd still be looking at a little bit of an issue getting it to scrub off easily enough. So my personal preference there is going to be going with the tape. Now, I don't have any wax pencils on hand because I just never use them to experiment with, so I don't know. So what I recommend is try experimenting. If you happen to have a wax pencil on hand, try experimenting with that right on a lid, and then find out how easy that is to wash off. Now, one thing about the tape is, especially the Scotch tape, it comes off the easiest, but the masking tape comes off very easy too. You just peel it off, and I've had no issue with it leaving a residue behind. A little soap and water will get off anything that's left. So that's how I label my Tattler lids, to keep it simple and clean and not and not have it be stained with a permanent ink. Oh yes, one more thing I forgot to say is that if you're talking about lighter things in your jar, you can actually write on the outside of the jar on a smooth area with permanent marker. And permanent marker is really easy to get off glass or any very smooth surface. As long as you have some isopropyl alcohol, you can spray that on there, rub it in, and then just wipe it off with a dry cloth. Or you can do the idea of using the dry erase marker, color right over the top of it, and then wipe it off with a dry cloth. Either one of those work really good at getting permanent marker off of any smooth surface, whether it be glass, smooth plastic with no texture, or your metal lids, as long as you don't scrub your metal lids with any kind of scrubber that's going to cause micro scratches in there, and then you go to use a permanent ink, then it's very hard to get it back off. That's why I never scrub the top of my metal lids, so that I can keep them as smooth as possible for constant reuse when I'm using them for vacuum sealing. All right, well, I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.